All right.
Welcome back to Beyond Balance. If you guys didn't hear about the new show DunkMan, it is mad fucking hype. We're gonna go over the DunkMan episode 1 here in today's podcast, and we got two special guests here with our co-host Darshil, of course, but we also got Paco and Harish. These guys are gonna review the podcast or give their opinions on the episode. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna see what we agree with, see what we disagree with, and yeah. So let's get started here. So
so DunkMan, you know, is about the top 40 dunkers around the world right now.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how many dunkers auditioned for it, right? But only 40 of them.
It was about 100.
Competition. It was about 100, and this is all pre-recorded basically, right? This is like maybe a month ago or so, and yeah, right now whatever we're seeing is just stuff that was already kind of done. So we're just reviewing the first episode for today.
Yep, first episode for today. We would do the second episode, but I didn't have enough time. That's perfect, by the way. I love the glow around the I didn't even know you had that. Yeah, it's perfect. You should have told me about that beforehand. I would have just been like, yo, look at this. Okay. But so to give a complete honest review, we do have strong opinions, as many people watching do also have, but we're gonna keep that, we're gonna keep that in check. We're gonna be as unbiased as we possibly can be and realistic about what we're seeing. We're going to talk about what happened on the show, so we're going to talk about exactly what happened, exactly what the judges said as well. So we'll go over that starting now. Do you guys have any kind of anything you guys want to say before we get started?
Not much.
I feel like did you want to talk, Paco? Or
no, I'm good. You can go first.
Yeah, same here.
Okay,
I'm good.
All right. So what I wanted to just say, right, is this isn't my opinion when I saw it. It was more so how other people saw it, or at least how I saw it through Instagram comments, and I kind of agreed after. Some people kind of saw that like some of the missed dunks just felt like an episode of Wipeout. Like you're just watching people just get quickly snubbed. Like.
Yo, Wipeout is crazy, dog. I did not know people was talking about that.
What are you talking about?
Okay,
because
Paco, if you want to explain Wipeout to Paco?
Yeah, Wipeout, it's basically an obstacle course kind of thing, right? But sometimes they kind of film it in such a way, right, where like the failed attempts or like the failed contestants, right, they just quickly overview over them and then just quickly move to the next contestant. That was the same thing that happened with that's the same thing that happened with DunkMan as well, in terms of the fact that
the misses kind of got through over the window.
Yeah, but it kind of felt like a bit disrespectful, to like.
Yeah, especially
that's what I'm saying.
Like some of the guys, so that would be for sure. Like to mention, like Kwame and Dylan.
Yeah.
We didn't get to hear their story, even though the thing is about Dylan, it's like he missed. Like he obviously missed all 3 attempts. He was nervous. He's 19, one of his first dunk competitions. I can't say that I wouldn't be nervous if I was in his position, but it's like, and at the end of the day, we all know Dylan's potential. If you know who Dylan McCarthy is, he deserves to have the name Alien. Dylan Alien McCarthy. So, but we'll get into that. We'll get into the first dunk by B Ruff. He did a double up two-hander over John Evans himself on the first attempt. And he did a little bit of showmanship. He did a little Spider-Man on the rim. He did a backflip in front of the judges. He did a split for the crowd. He high-fived the guys in the crowd like that were sitting on courtside, and he just picked up a random child. So so we know that we know he did a little bit of showmanship. He gave the entertainment kind of similar to what Lewis did in the second episode, which we'll talk about in the next episode of us talking about this. But
wait, Juan.
Yeah.
By any chance, do you have a picture or do you have a picture of B-Ruff just holding the fucking random?
Honestly, that's something I need to get. Honestly, by the way, Paco, if you could do us like a favor, I have you muted right now, but when you're not talking, could you not mute your mic because there's like a fan in the background. Yeah, no, you're good. But yeah, basically, okay. So I'll talk about some of the judges said. Darshil, you give your opinion first, and then you guys can talk about it while I find that image for you guys. But yeah, so Dwight Howard said the showmanship was amazing. He got the crowd into it, gave him a 98. Vince Carter said his energy was through the roof. Energy gives it 100, but right now he'll give him a 96. And then Shaq said 95 for the dunk because he thought it was a very simple dunk. And to be fair, it was a pretty simple dunk. But in my opinion. But he got 3 points for the showmanship, 3 extra points, so then Shaq gave him a 98. Overall, he got a 97.3. We can talk about, I have my own say on this, but Darshil, you can go first.
Alright, so I'll first preface this that even though I've met B-Ruff, even though everything's so silent. Even though he's also a part of the SoCal Dunkers, so he's obviously representative of the same type of guys as I am, I still would say that in terms of that dunk, it was too simple. Like, what Shaq was saying for it before he decided to add 3 points for showmanship was right spot on in terms of the fact that it was simple. And the fact is that, yes, showmanship in any contest, no matter what dunk you have, should be a thing that you should have. But I don't think that it's something that should give you that much credence on your points and gets you that close to 100. So in my honest opinion, I can even give a score for it, right? Most dunks that are missed get like an 85. So in this case, I might just put it more like at a 91, 92, right? If we're trying to be generous in that sense.
Because in a sense also, like, again, just to put it simply, some of the guys you could say who got lower scores did better dunks. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I would say it's like not too much fault there because of like the fact of like he was the first like first guy who did the dunk, did a dunk in front of them. So then they kind of had to it looked like they had to get used to the scoring system there. So yeah, especially this is like kind of like first time they're doing like a very like Shaq is literally doing his own like personal like thing with it. So yeah, and then so for whoever wants to go next, Harish or Paco, you guys can talk about that. Let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So I agree that, that was a very simple dunk. And I mean, it's expected because he's the very first contestant. And so he doesn't know what other dunkers are going to do and everything. So I think he just had to play it safe and do something very simple. And he definitely had a lot more in store for the second time he was going to dunk.
Yeah, I will say this much, right? Like I should have added this, I think there is like a credence, like there is a point to where it makes sense to do it, essentially because you not only have 2 dunks, right, just in that first hour round that you're doing, but then you also have the third one that you're obviously going to have when you're narrowing down to the semifinals and then finals or whatnot. So like I do get the strategy in that. That's why I still would put it at least at a 92 or 93, but it's like I'm not.
He's the very first person.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really give him like a too low of a rating for that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 So yeah. Any thoughts, Paco, before we move on?
So about the first dunk, I know B-Ruff personally. We've met in Macau, but I think it's a decent strategy to get the showmanships up, but if it weren't for the crowd that's, to put it lightly, a bit more casual about dunking, I would say I'd give it like a 90 at most, because just a regular double out over a 5'11" person isn't that impressive, especially when we're considering such a high caliber of a dunk contest. But yeah, I agree with Darshil on that one, and still, pretty good start, I would say. Good warm-up dunk, but we'll see what dunks they got going forward.
Okay, so before anyone comments down here saying that none of us can make these dunks, this is more so in the fact that we're just looking at it in terms of the fact that this is the best dunkers in the world, and we're judging it off of that kind of caliber. It doesn't matter if we can make those dunks, but we have seen what the community is capable of and what we can do as dunkers, so we judge it fairly based off of that.
Yeah,
The best dunker here is Harish.
And it was just
that actually is true.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
But yeah, what were you saying? What were you gonna say, Paco?
Yeah, if this was held in like Hong Kong or something, it was like a really local event, and they got like double up over someone, like that would be an instant 10. But like we're talking about the best of the best, so we have to be critical about these dunkers right here.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. It's like it's kind of like how like a lot of the time it's like when you think of coaches, like especially someone like, and this obviously no shade because John can jump high and do some good dunks much better than obviously we can do. Someone like John or someone like Ben. They're not like Isaiah Rivera. They're not a Donovan Hawkins, but they have been the guide for these guys. So it's kind of like, think of it in that sense that like we're giving our I would say just look at it in that sense that we got the eyes and we're in this community. We know a good bit of the ins and outs. So yeah. With that being said, we'll move on from B-Ruff's dunk. He got a 97.3 average. So yeah, with that, now we move on to Lee Peck. This was also his last dunk competition. He is going to become a doctor, so congratulations for him on that. And I also thought it was funny, the dunk he did when Dwight Howard tried to sit down on the thing and then he fell. That was pretty funny. But
yeah, I didn't think he would fit.
yeah, so he did a one-hander jumping over Dwight Howard. I forgot who he jumped over, but he was jumping over somebody with Dwight Howard.
It was D. Howard.
It was no.
Oh wait, in front of him. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, someone in front of him. I forgot who it was, but he made that on the first attempt. He did like a little. Quick.
Is that Miller? I'm not too familiar with that face, but I think he looks.
Yeah, he did like a slight mill on it, slight windmill. So
no, I mean like Miller dunks.
No,
is that Miller dunks?
I said mill as in like windmill, Paco.
Oh yeah, my bad. But I'm not sure if the gown is. I'm not too familiar.
I got it opened up here so I can look at this. You can see John. I'm still trying to get that image of B-Ruff grabbing the baby. But you can see John. You can see John clapping as he's like doing the showman. So, dude, oh man, B-Ruff was entertaining. I'll give him that. It was fun to watch. When I was watching him, bro, it was awesome. It was so fun. But yeah, and then with Lee Peck's
I'm not sure who the guy is. I'm not sure who the guy is, to be honest.
Probably a random person from the crowd.
Well, I wouldn't. Yeah. Probably not. But maybe it is. I don't know. He did. Okay, so yeah, he did the one-hander with like a slight windmill action, jumping over, and then with Dwight Howard seated down. Obviously, Dwight Howard's gonna be there like for the entertainment. I don't know if I doubt he was actually scared. Maybe he was. I don't know. But then Dwight Howard, quote, "He had me scared," scored a 98. Vince Carter wowed the crowd. "We wanted to see you take your jacket off, but you knew you could complete the dunk." Stuck to the script. 97 because he still had the suit on. So then they were like, "Oh no, take the suit off." But then he was like, "Nah," and then he went for it, punched the dunk. And then Shaq was like, everyone was yelling, "Take a jacket off." Still impressed. 95. He got an average of 96.7. So, my opinion again. Lee Peck and this is like to show also like that B-Ruff and Lee Peck, they know what they're doing with the double ups, because they know that it's the meta and they understand that. And this also goes into like a little talk about episode 2, how much Jordan Kilgannon, how much of a veteran he is because of how well he can dunk, but he also knows like, okay, I got to do the double up, you know what I'm saying? So to make it look impressive, so more impressive than it realistically is, but not to say that it's still like impressive. So like Lee Peck, he knows what he's doing, especially when they do like we'll get into some of the other stuff they do in the future attempts. But with that being said, like overall still a good dunk, still impressed the crowd and the people, and it was fun. It was fun to watch. So it's like, yeah, that's kind of my say on it. Whoever wants to go next on that, Darshil, if you want to go next, or Paco. Okay, let Paco go.
Yeah. Oh, you wanted to go, Paco?
Yeah. I agree with Shaq's rating here of 95. It's definitely a more advanced dunk compared to B-Ruff because of a distance component and a slight windmill. But I do like the component of the jacket. This is more about a personal thing than more of a showmanship thing, but I do get why there's a stretcher to show off the crowd. But I think this overall a slightly better dunk than B-Ruff's. Not to put shade on B-Ruff's, you're an awesome guy. But yeah, I do agree with Shaq's rating here of 95. Yeah, pretty good dunk.
Alright, so on my end as well, I'm gonna, I guess, give my own takes on it. Also, B-Ruff, don't mess up my pass lobs, please, the next time you meet me. But, yeah, I think that I would agree with Paco's assessment as well. Leapek's dunk is slightly harder, both in terms of being able to have that transfer quality of the windmill, as well as not only jumping over someone, but also jumping over a slight distance with the gurney. And also having the uniform on. So I think if I give like B-Ruff a 92, 93, I'm probably going to give Lipek maybe a 94, 95. Considering that it is still, I think, like his first dunk, and it's like kind of early on in terms of like even the round itself. So it makes sense to go with something safe. Was just, I think at this point when I was watching it live, I was hoping for something else that he might do in like the second go around. So at that point, I was thinking, yeah, pretty good dunk, I guess, for that time period.
Anything you want to say, Harish? Anything you agree with that what they said or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Dwight gave it a 98, and maybe he could be a little biased because he was part of the dunk. He wasn't necessarily judging it, so that could be why it might have been a little higher. So he gave a 98.
Yeah, and this is when you also compare, like again, like we mentioned, all the dunks compare like of what everybody did, you know. So I'll say like I didn't really say my kind of take on like what points I should have gave him. Like I would say like, you know, B-Ruff, he made it first attempt, you know, he got the showmanship. I'll give that like, you know, if you add a point for the showmanship, I'll give him like a 91. Yeah. But then for Leapek, I would give him like you know, it's a better dunk, so it's like about a 93, 94 for me. Obviously, if I'm a judge, I'm gonna make sure to round that out, but that's like my sort of range for that. Anyone got anything else to say before we move on?
No, I agree.
No? All right, gotcha, dude. I'm still trying to get this, so you guys are gonna have to do most of the talking for me. It's still getting these B-Ruff images, but it's too comedic as hell, dude. It's amazing to watch.
The B-Ruff files.
Oh my goodness. What are you talking about? Yo, you can't say that. yeah, okay, chill out. Okay. Alright, and then so yeah, Leapek with an average of 96.7. So it's like from there, that's where you see it, it's a little unfair because, you know, Leapek's dunk was a little better than B-Ruff's. So I'll say in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree too.
But yeah, because it's like he had the one-hander. He did add like a little bit more kind of showiness with it, so it's like it's whatever. So next up we got.
Yeah, I think if they could have gone back, they probably would have changed the scores.
Yeah,
probably.
Professional dunkers judge the thing. Like Isaiah, Grabble. I know it's a bit more expenses, and it would be less like less of a title. There's no Shaq and there's no Mac McClung, but if they were to judge, I think they'll make a really, really good dunk contest.
And not gonna lie, that's where I was very happy when, and again, just to mention episode 2, when Mac McClung, when he was judging, I was very happy when he was judging because he gave very fair ratings.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of double ups, I would say, but he does it himself as well.
Yeah, because he knows the strat. You know, he's a bit of a dunker himself. Bro, that guy's a beast. Dude. That guy's a legend.
Yeah, I mean, like he uses a double up to its full potential, not just easy.
And he does the dunks well. He does good dunks. You know, it's not like he's just doing like, you know, fucking like some.
Bro, the crystal ball dunk was crazy when I first saw it on like 2022 or some shit. It was like,
yeah. All right, we'll move on here. Next up we got Dylan McCarthy, Dylan Alien McCarthy. He rightfully deserves that name, that's for sure. Like we all saw what happened. He went for the off lob one hand elbow, which we all know he's very capable of. He missed all 3. He was nervous, very nervous. I could tell when he was walking. Like he looked very stiff. He had a very straight face. But again, we all know what he's capable of. And you could see the judges, they all wanted to see that dunk. Like they were like, yo, there's no way, like this kid's about to, at 19, this kid's about to do a one hand elbow. But again, we all know he's done it before. Vince Carter, we'll quote Vince Carter and Shaq. Vince Carter said, "Hold your head up, hold your head up." Shaq was like, "Alien, were you nervous?" Alien was like, "Yeah, pretty nervous." And he got a total score of 69.3. Obviously, that's the score you're gonna get when you miss all 3 dunks. But again, we all know Dylan's potential. I want to know what you guys think of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He has, I believe, a 49 inch vert,
No, he
and
got
that
a
was a
50.
real.
He got a
Oh,
50.
he has a 50 now.
He
Okay,
just
yeah.
recently got it. So that's
Oh,
the
yeah,
what,
yeah,
like
yeah,
what the
yeah.
fourth 50 from THP. So
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, he has a 50-inch vert, and obviously it was going to be his first dunk, that elbow, and he was definitely capable of doing it. The fact that he has a 50, and that was a really great first dunk. But, I mean, I totally get it. It was his first competition. He was nervous, but the more he immerses himself in this, the better he will be, and he has untapped potential.
oh yeah, dude.
I
You could say that 1,000 times over, dude.
Man, it makes me sad, to be honest, when I saw like Dylan missing all 3 of them, because it was more so like I wanted to see like what dunks, like if he were to move on, right? What kind of dunks what kind of dunks Dylan would be able to do, that would have a higher complexity than even the one hand elbow, which is already complex with the lob. So like,
You know what?
just think.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'll say this much because I feel like this could lead to what you're saying, Darshil. He didn't go for a double up.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
say
the
that
thing.
much.
Like I appreciated that so much with Dylan. Like the courage to do a dunk that isn't a double up is actually very commendable. And then I just unfortunately we couldn't see more, and it kind of is just it kind of goes with kind of it being his first contest and such like a kind of a prestigious, or not prestigious, but kind of at like a very high level of which he's competing at. So it's like, I don't know.
Especially in front of people like Shaq, Vince, and Dwight Howard. That's that's something it's fair to be nervous about that. And at the end of the day, in the dunk community, a message for Dylan is that we know what you're capable of, and we have that, again, like the fact that you didn't go for a double up, we have that respect for you. You are still a much noticed freak of nature, and we know what you're capable of, especially at 19 years old. You have many years ahead of you. Many years ahead of you to become great. So, yeah, that's all I'll say. Paco, if you have any last words before we move on.
Yeah, sorry for looking at the screen for a while, but I was just scrolling for the comments in DunkMan, and it was about double ups. I think mainstream media has been catching up as well. A lot of people have been commenting that double ups are kind of like pushing off. But yeah, back to like McCarthy on the elbow. I didn't really see the dunk because I wasn't on HBO Max and I can't really feel it because it was a miss, unfortunately. But yeah, it goes to show that like it's really commendable for someone that young to go for like that tough of a dunk. I know he's capable, he's fully capable of doing that dunk, but in front of Shaq, in front of McClung, in front of like all those judges, yeah, it's really impressive for him. And shout out.
And hey, the fact he's even on there is impressive. The fact that any of those guys are on there is impressive. So it's like, you're on the big show. Just, now that's just experience for him. Now he knows what it's like to be on a big stage like that. Like a big stage like that. So if he say he gets invited to some like smaller dunk contest, he gonna see it and be like, this probably ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of a vision. But he's still again, he's young. There's still a lot for him to learn as like someone who is that good at that young of an age. So he's definitely got some guidance. So best thing for him is to learn from it, use that guidance to move forward and perform in the future. Learn how to perform, because there's a lot of guys on here who very much know how to perform, that even though some of them may not be as good of dunkers as other people. So yeah, respect to Dylan. So next up we got
Wait,
oh,
Juan.
yep.
You want to share the images?
Oh yo, I gotta. Yo. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right, these images are hilarious, dog. Hold on, let's share the screen. Let me make sure there's no. All right, there's no. Let's see here. Oh, bam! Let's hope y'all can see this. So first B Ruff was like, "Yo, can I hold this child? May I?" Look at him. He's like, "Yo, like look at this kid. He looks so happy." And then look at him. Oh, look at his face.
This is
Oh, it feels like Lion King.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yo, and then this is look at the kid. He's so happy.
What is this?
Oh my god, dude! He gave that kid so much joy, dude. That's amazing. This is awesome, dude. We love B-Ruff for this, dude. This was so fun. This was so fun to watch. I love the showmanship, dude.
You already unshared it. I was about to say, if you clicked on the one with AI Darshil, that was my response when I saw that shit.
Oh yeah. Wait, we gotta show the AI Darshil for the one time. Where is he? Here he is. There's AI Darshil. Yo, and then we got the AI Darshil as a child. Okay, maybe that's too much.
Okay, back on topic. It's your boy.
Okay.
Paco, it's your boy Ty J.
Ty J.
You want to talk?
Maloney.
Yeah, I would
You
go
want to talk
first on
about it
this.
first?
Yeah. All you Paco.
Yeah. So Ty J, we met in Dunk Camp. He give a little background information. He was one of the first followers of my account, so huge shout out to Ty J. And I met him in Dunk Camp in person, and he was nice enough to give me a ride throughout the state of Utah, just hang out. But back to the main part, he did a double up over 3 people. Is it 3? What? 4 or 3? 3. Yeah, 3 people. Yeah, and that was I think that's a really good way to start as a first time professional dunker. I'm not sure if this is a professional dunker thing, but I'd say it's a professional dunker thing. But I would give that a solid 98 or 97, given that the first few dunks before that was a bit lackluster compared to that one. I'm not giving glaze on him, no, because it's still a double up, but if Dylan made that dunk, then I would give him a 95, 96, but still really impressive dunk from Ty J. But let's see how it does in the second dunk from him.
Yeah, I would say same thing, but I'd probably give it about a 95. I found it inspiring that he was doing it for his family. Obviously, he mentioned that his brother was disabled. I think he mentioned that he can't he can't really speak either, and it's nice to know that he's there for him as well, especially while he's talking about feeling his him being able to sense his presence when he's seeing him. So that was that was very it was nice to hear that he was doing it for his family. His first dunk contest ever, by the way. So him doing that for his first dunk contest, that was pretty damn impressive. So good on Ty J. And then not gonna lie, so here we're gonna give some quotes here. Dwight Howard, I gave him a 99. You did good. You did real good. You got a 99. I just want to see one more dunk, and then I'll give you 100. And then, so I gave him a 99. Vince Carter said, the difficulty's there. Great dunk. Great finish on your first attempt. You gave him an 100. Shaq said, you came out here, took care of business. You made it on the first attempt. Beautiful dunk. So I think somewhere they mentioned that they thought it was a double pump, which, again, we all all of us dunkers know that it was a push off, not necessarily a double pump. Of course, it looks like a double pump, but if you were looking at it very critically as someone who is in the dunk community, we know that it was another double up. But he did get a total score of 99.7. So for someone doing his first dunk contest in front of Shaq, Vince, and Dwight Howard, he did good. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. With Ty J, being next up, I think what really helped him out was seeing what the guys did before him. He saw B-Ruff did reverse. So I think he knew that he could do something like that, but just do it over 2 people. I think that's one of the biggest advantages in dunk contest if you don't go first. If you go like third or fourth, depending on how many people there are, you can just build off what you see other people doing. So if I had to guess, that's what Tai did. And yeah, he definitely took three guys and did a reverse pump and just built off what the guys did before. And I would agree with Vince and Shaq. I would have given this score 100, and it's very inspiring to see that he's doing it for his family, and especially this is really great for it being his first dunk contest.
Yeah, W Tajay in the chat, bro.
W.
Okay,
I'd
go ahead.
say
So I was
that-
I was so surprised to wait. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, like, I was like not necessarily surprised, but I was pretty happy to see him on there because I've seen him on Instagram. I know like he is a good dunker. So I was like, oh shit, he's on here, let's go. And then I saw him do that. I was like, let's go. Like it was pretty hype to see.
All right, so yeah, what I wanted to say, I think you guys pretty much said most of the things I was gonna say, but no, it's definitely like it kind of ups the ante, especially because he kind of knew what the other guys did beforehand and could build off of that. So being able to not just jump over one person, but jump over three and do a double up reverse, I think that, and the finish as well, was good. Like it was a solid finish. So in my opinion, I would give it like a 96 or even 97. In my opinion, I think so far, like in terms of whoever should have been there, like in this first round, at this point in time, I was like, okay, Tajay, I think has the best dunk at this point. That's like successfully made. I mean,
I'll definitely give you that one. Definitely the best dunk made so far. That's why he got a 99.7. So yeah, we'll move on to the next guy, Dominic Gonzalez. We all know how good Dom is. Unfortunately, he went. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I want to.
Oh, you've seen him in person, actually. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's
you
why
take,
I want to
take that. You can talk about this.
Yeah, seeing Dom in person, because I've both seen the snake dunk in person, which is in itself, it's so interesting to see in motion, like when you're right there. But it's a travesty, really, right? In being in that he couldn't get the snake dunk to work as it was. Like, if he did, that first round would have been over. I don't know. Like, it's such a nuanced movement that if you see it through the replay especially, right, because he put that stuff in order to be able to judge it beforehand, it's crazy. It is,
And
it's
just to
a work
mention-
of art.
Yeah, just to mention, and if you look at that third attempt, he had the like the snake part. He just didn't, he front rimmed it, unfortunately. So like, cause he messed up that part on the first two attempts. Because at the first attempt, it just looked like a regular one-hander. Second attempt, you saw what he was going for, but then he kind of like bumped up the ball instead of like doing like the smooth action. Which when I have the freaking rim here. When I was practicing that, I was like, damn, like this is actually like kind of difficult, dude.
It's
Like,
it's actually
especially
it's
doing
actually,
that in the air with the upward momentum, like.
Like, I think I feel like there's a few years back, right, where I kind of did like I tried doing like a very similar dunk. All I could ever get to was bumping it. I can never get to the full idea that Dom had.
Yeah, and again, respect to Dom because he didn't go for a double up, and he was going for like his signature dunk, you know, showing the people like, hey, this is my dunk. But unfortunately, he did miss it. But it'll again another learning experience for another contestant, young
And
contestant.
and again, I'm gonna keep glazing Dom here because he has a 7'4" reach, which, if you were to be honest, the only person who has a lower reach than him is me. Everyone in this podcast has a higher reach than Dom. Like, all of you do. So I've always like admired Dom in every sense in terms of a dunker that he is. So just seeing him go like that, just like Dylan, he probably had some way more crazier dunks than even the snake dunk. Maybe a 180 snake for all we know. But it's
hey,
unfortunate.
at the end of the day, those guys are young. Like they're like, well, young like us, I should say. But like, you know, we ain't on there. We they are. So you know what I'm saying. It's like we know their bag. We're familiar with their game, so yeah, they're great dunkers either way. To kind of, if you want to finish kind of going over like the scores that they gave them.
Yeah. So in terms of the fact that Dom did miss the dunk, unfortunately, I think for each of the scores, I can even say the quotes for it. D. Howard basically said, "Shout out to my Filipinos, but I'll give him a 69," and the crowd booed him. But I mean, as much as I like Dom, it is a missed dunk, and you can't give a high score. It's kind of impossible to give a high score. So, and I think before the podcast, I don't know if you said it, Paco, but like for FIBA scores, right? If you missed a dunk, it's a 0.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. Sorry to cut you off. Go for it.
My bad, Paco. You're good. But
It's
the
like
other scores were Vince. The other scores are like a 70 for Vince Carter, and then 72 for Shaq. But if you want to talk more about the FIBA stuff, then by all means, Paco, you can take over.
yeah, because like if you miss a dunk, it's an automatic 0 in FIBA terms. As I've been in quite a few of FIBA contests now, and they're really really strict about it. But I think in this scenario, I think 69 is fair because it gives like a decent footing. If you still miss it, you still have a chance to get back, and I think that's fair. 69. I wouldn't say it's like unfair, but oh, that's that. But yeah.
Tell father I said hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Papa Choi.
Anything else, Paco?
No, I'm good. I really respect Don's try on using the snake dunk because that's a signature dunk, like Darshil said. But I didn't really see the full dunk in person, so I don't know how close it is. Is it close, Juan?
Okay, so the third attempt was the closest because he actually, he got the movement, but he just front rimmed it.
And it's
Oh.
like being able to get that, because I've tried doing it sometimes, right? When I'm like resting, getting that first part is one thing, but then getting it to be firmly on your hand or whatnot and finish at the same time, it's a different
See,
story.
it's hard to not like bump up the ball.
Like let's say you get the first part right, you bring it back, then you get it right. You still need to be able to finish it correctly.
I know
Especially
there's
if
another
you
story
are-
talking about it too.
It's yeah. He basically it's almost like bringing it back and then going, which
I missed.
is harder than it looks. It is so hard, and being able to finish it is just another like complexity to that at that point.
Yeah, and you guys have seen the one where he did it like reverse too. Like, come on, bro. Come on, dude. All right. Anyways, Harish, if you have any last words before we move on.
No, I agree with everything you all said. I think it's definitely his first time ever doing that in contest. I mean, maybe he's done it in front of a smaller crowd, but the fact that the crowd was a lot larger, maybe that could have been what it was. But I mean, he's definitely capable of doing that dunk. And yeah, definitely would love to see him pull it off in contest one day.
Nice. Moving on here.
Height check.
Hiram height check Fexer did an elbow over 6'6" Kwame Alexander on his first attempt. So, knowing that, we'll talk about the scores. Dwight Howard, 8 that's 100, Bo. That's what he said. Vince Carter, you put on a show. Not only did you put the arm in the rim, but you gave us a little windmill. He did have a little bit of a windmill action, not a full windmill, but a little bit of a windmill. Shaq, he's trying to troll a bit. He was like, he said 99, and then the crowd is booing him. Wait, let me finish. And then he was like, I'll give him 99 plus 1, which is 100. And then after, he was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that after Hiram was walking out. So he got an average of 100, which fair enough because, one, he did the meta, he did the double up, but not only did the double up, he's 5'9", and he did the double up, and then he put his elbow in the rim. And obviously, when you see a white guy do that, people they're gonna be impressed. But nah, Hiram's a beast. Hiram's insane. Like,
I think
he's good.
there's nothing to be
Yeah,
said.
okay.
Like I feel like this is kind of a no-brainer. Like at worst, you might give like a 98, 99.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I would just give 100 at that point.
Yeah. If we're talking about, for me personally, if we're talking about as critical as possible, Like
Yeah,
when we're talking about dunk standards, it's gonna be like a 98, 99. You know what I'm saying? We
yeah,
can't
like
give that an
that's what.
100
Yeah, that's like one of my first scores were. Like they
because
were
if you're
based off
talking
of my own
about
standards.
if you're talking about top tier, you're looking at Isaiah Rivera behind the back, in between the legs, or Kamikaze from like whoever, from Jordan, Isaiah, or some fucking East Bay Scorpion, fucking Donovan Hawkins, shit like that. Like that's in 100 to me. So it's like if you see something like that, it's like okay, like that at that point, that's like that could even go down to like a 97. You know what I'm saying? Because he is 5'9". And he is jumping over, so he, even though it's a double up, it's still over someone who's 6'6". So you need a certain amount of height to be jumping over 6'6", and then you put his elbow in the rim. So at the end of the day, Paco, I'm not even gonna say it. Sorry, you just caught me off guard because I. Okay, yeah, but he put the elbow in the rim, so no matter what, that's impressive. So. In these standards, we give him an 100, but in the standards of like the greatest of what other people have done, it's in my opinion it's gonna be about 97, 98. So yeah, and then Paco, if you wanna go first.
Yeah, of course.
Or go next.
I would say I give it 100. 100. Because it's the meta, like you said, but it's over a guy that's 6'6" and he's 5'9", and that's a huge height difference. That's basically like the one that Tyler Curry did over the Matrix, if you've watched the NBA Macau tour. So that's a really high height difference, and he elbowed that shit too. I'm not sure how much push off he did. Oh wait, let me just get my camera out of the way.
No way. Okay.
There you go. But it's a really good dunk to start off by Hiram. He's slowly getting traction, not only from the dunk show, from dunk camp, but from this too. So I'm really proud of what he's accomplished in this year.
I'll say this as well. Sorry to cut you off. They just came up. Hiram knows how to put on a show, for sure. He knows the strat on how to really put on a show. So.
Yeah, I've met Hiram in person, and yeah, he's a very great person, very nice guy. And I actually didn't even know any of this information about him, that he's from a small town that only has one gas station and that he has 10
He
siblings.
said that was like 20 miles away too, I'm pretty sure. Something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I didn't even know that about him, but yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, that dunk, I definitely would have given it 100. And I don't think you guys mentioned this, but I remember when he was dapping up Shaq, Dwight, Vince. He specifically told Vince, "You're the inspiration behind this." And then he did the elbow dunk. And I agree. It should have been all hundreds.
Mm-hmm. And then Paco, did you have anything to finish off with there?
Nothing much. W Hiram.
W Hiram. All right. Next up,
I'd like to see him on Beyond Bounce one day.
I'd love to see a lot of these guys from Beyond Bounce and on Beyond Bounce. That would be awesome. But yeah, we'll talk about next 35-year-old Kwame Alexander. For those of you who are familiar with him, me personally, I was not very familiar with him. It looks like he is, more of a dunk, like he has a past of being in dunk contests and stuff. Again, wasn't very familiar with him. Not sure how familiar you guys you were with him. But...
Yeah,
I think he competed on Dunk King.
Yeah,
against Kilgannon.
I've definitely seen him, and I've heard of him. I have a dunk right now that I can show, just like one of the things I saw right now.
100%. I think that would be a good idea. While you're looking that up,
I already found it.
Got it right here. Nice.
Yeah. So.
Let's see some.
So
Slam-a-jam right here. I'm ready for this.
It's very. It looks so similar to kind of like the floatiness that Darius Clark has, because just look at this dunk for example. Look at this shit.
I couldn't see it. It was laggy, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. It would probably be fine for the viewers, but for me right now, it's a little laggy.
All right, let me try it again. Is it still laggy?
He is his youth right there. My goodness. Because right now he has the Oh my god. Oh, okay. I saw the dunk. It was like laggy, but I saw the dunk. That looked powerful. He looks like he got some power behind his dunks. Not gonna lie.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he has like a similar type of executing dunks. Like he's basically Darius Clark in terms of like his dunk execution.
Is that like a
But
360 double hand windmill? I'm not really.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of that. Yeah, it looks really amazing.
yeah,
It was a 360 double pump, pretty much.
yeah. And it was
that's what I'm pretty sure that's what Michael Purdy did.
yeah, and it's like I wanted to show that just so the people who were disappointed to just not see any dunk that was being, I guess, successfully done. Alexander, at least in his prime, I'm not sure now, right, was able to do some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, seems like it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have, especially since I wasn't too familiar with the guys. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really search them up after this, but it looks like they're vets. So it looks like, especially Michael Purdy on that second dunk. We'll talk about that in a second. 35-year-old Kwame Alexander went for the 360 Vince Carter windmill and missed all three. Quote from Shaq: "Don't miss no more dunks." He was like, "I got you. You got to average a 71.7." So, Harish or Paco, if you guys have anything else to say, we'll move on to the next. All right, all good, perfect. 36-year-old Michael Purdy. He went for first attempt. He went for a 360 reverse one-hander, which looks like from the clips, it looks like it's one of his signatures. So unfortunately, he missed. So then he went for a 360 pump two-hander, which is what we just saw Kwame Alexander do. So he made it on third attempt. They gave him an average of 86.3. Shaq, quote, "Step it up, my boy." That's exactly what he said. So after that, you guys have anything to say about that before I move on? Okay. Next up, Dylan McCarthy. Again, we've already talked about Dylan, so we won't go too deep into it. He went for off lob under both, which again we all know he's very capable of. He missed all three. He got a average of 73. Next up, we got Dom. Dom went for one of his safe dunks that we've seen him do on FIBA. Pretty sure we've seen him do this on FIBA multiple times, actually. Pretty sure twice now. So he did double up reverse. He did this over Josh Rubel. He quote from the judges and what they gave him: "Dwight Howard, you don't make it. You make sure you do something to get to the next round." Referring to his last dunk, he did a good job of that. Score of 97. Vince Carter, you were paying attention. You were playing to survive. I thought that was a great dunk regardless. Score of 95. Shaq before Shaq was like, obviously he's trolling, like he's just saying this just to be like, just to have like that kind of doubt before he makes it. So I was like, oh my god. But then he's like, Shaq, he was like, who don't got that? No way. And then Shaq after he was talking to him, he was like, "I know that wasn't the initial dunk you wanted to do, but you still finished with a lot of flair and intensity." Gave him a 96. I'm pretty sure he got an average score of 96. I don't remember. I think I literally just changed this one because of like the average. So, but if I did the math, it's a 96, so it's probably a 96 on the show. So, yeah, he did a double up reverse. We all know Dom is capable of that. We've seen him do that plenty of times in contests. So I think a fair score, if we're talking about the standards that we're looking at, I think a fair score for me would be what Vince Carter gave him, and that would be a 95 in my opinion. So, Darshil.
I agree. I don't think there's much to add really. I think it's a 95. I think there's nothing much to add.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And then Paco and Harish, anything else? Anything you guys want to talk about?
What if he did showmanship like B-Rough after? Do you think that would have upped it up?
Well,
yeah, maybe so. Like to 96? Not much. Nothing. More substantial.
I would be very surprised due to Dom's seeming nonchalantness of him doing what B-Rough did.
And also, later in
Dom doing a backflip and doing Spider-Man poses.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, it's not Dom's personality to do it even.
Yeah, Dom's the nonchalant guy. He'll do some crazy shit, and then he'll hit you with this. He'll hit you with a. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, it was a great dunk, but I think that at this point in time, the judges they've already seen too many double up dunks and also too many of similar dunks over somewhat similar props too. At this point in time.
Mm-hmm. And then Paco, any last words?
I would give it a similar score to Tai J because Dom is a bit shorter, requires more height for him to get over even one person. So I would say it's similar to Tai J's dunk, but a bit more height for Dom, but less technical because there's less people, less distance covered. Not technical, but less like what to say, maybe less power involved. But Dom is shorter, so that compensates. So I would say it's a fair trade off, similar to Tai J 95, 96, around that.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Looks like that's it from everybody. Next up, we got 6'6" Kwame Alexander again. Hit you with a powerful windmill, so that was a bit more of, his kind of style with, like, what he can do, like, with his powerful dunks, because we saw that pump reverse. It looks like that's his style, is very powerful dunks. Dwight Howard said, okay, Shaq said, I like that he went safe, but he did have a lot of power. The Dwight Howard quote, I accidentally copied that from Dom's thing. So, but yeah, and then so Dwight Howard gave him an 89, Vince Carter 89, Shaq 93. Since he did have a lot of power, that's what Shaq said, gave him a 93. So, it was a windmill.
I can give respect again to Kwame because he's one of the more veterans to the game. He didn't do a double up.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like we're so anti double up, but it's like you have to kind of get it in terms of if it's not a complex dunk like doing a fucking scorpion after doing that or a crab or whatever, then a double up is more of an advantage to most dunkers out there. Mm-hmm. You're adding inches literally when you're doing a double up. So I think with this dunk for the windmill, personally, I would scored like a 92, 93 still.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even 94. Because it's like, if we're going to give a double up a high score, like a basic double up, like, no offense, what B-Ruff did, then I think a windmill that's also kind of simple, right, but has a powerful execution to it, should have that same score then. It's only fair.
Yeah, if we're talking about in these standards, probably like a 93, I would say. And Harish, Paco, any words? All right, moving on. Now we got Michael Purdy. I love what he did here. This was so funny. He kept stopping. First it was Dylan. Then he was like, hey, hold up. And then you got Josh and Isaiah, and he was like, hey, hold up. And then he got John, and then he was like, all right, I'm about to do it. He's like, man, hold up. And then he got Tom and Jay Clark, and then he was like, all right, that's it. And then so he again. That shows his veteranness. He knows what he's doing with that. Again, with Cho's experience with dunk contests, he's a 36-year-old guy who's done many dunk contests in the past. So, yeah, Dwight Howard, 100. Vince Carter, how many guys? 6, 100. Shaq was like, he said, Shaq was like, that's the Michael Purdy I know. That's the Michael Purdy everyone else knows because it looks like that he knows who that is. He gave him an 100, got an average score of 100. With what he did, obviously he had the showmanship, and then he made the dunk. It was a double up two-hander. You could argue it's the same dunk as B-Ruff, but he had the showmanship when it came to getting all those people, which was pretty fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. So
added distance as well.
Yeah. So in my opinion, in the standards, it's really is difficult, but I could give it like if I'm being critical, like a 96 in my end.
Yeah, I think first of all, Michael Purdy just basically summoned Team THP, and that actually includes Jay Clark. Because I remember Jay Clark back in the day did Jay Clark. Because back in the day, Jay Clark did work with John. But no, I actually found. First of all, I think just for the dunk itself, like I guess what Juan was saying, I'm gonna give it a 96 as well because it is, in its sense, a simple dunk. Like it is just a double up two-hander, but the complexity of him going over 6 people still puts it at a high enough score, just not high in our standards.
Can I correct you and say more showmanship rather than complexity?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you have the tallest guy in front and then everyone else is shorter than him, it's really just
obviously.
showy. It's really just showy. So
that's true.
You know, it's.
I mean, like,
you know,
it reminds me of that dunk that Sutherland did, where he has like 20 kids that are there, right? And he just dunks over all of them.
Yo, I love seeing that, bro. He just dunks over all the kids. Bro, I can imagine being one of those kids, be like, whoa. Dude, that's fucking awesome, dude. That looks so cool. Like, honestly, like, stuff like that, it's so fun to watch. It's so fun to watch.
But I think at a personal level, just talking about his story, I was inspired by the fact that Michael Purdy had chronic asthma, because I don't have asthma, right? Sure. But it's like, I've had people in my family that have had it. They've suffered their whole life in some cases with it. So seeing someone that succeeds in the sport like that, it's inspirational, really, to any of my family members, if they watch this kind of stuff, of course.
Yeah, especially when they tell you can't do it, man. You know, who said I can't do it? What you know, I'm not even gonna say too much. Paco and Harish, what do you guys think? Paco first.
First of all, I didn't like the idea of calling in people and stopping them, like Harish said before. It's like, just make the damn dunk. But like cliche as it sounds, I do like the idea of like I mentioned in the start. It kind of reminds me of the university, college, D1 team selection. There's like all these tables. It's like here. It's like nope, nope, and you just pulls out random hand. That kind of reminds me of that. So that's kind of funny. And the actual dunk itself is decent. So I agree with the scoring that Harish mentioned. It's like 96, 97, right?
Yeah. If you have anything else to say, Harish?
Yeah, I found that funny too, how he was bringing in all those guys, and I didn't even know that was Jay Clark because his face was kind of hidden. So yeah,
me too.
But
when I was typing the doc, I was like, some random guy, and then after I see it's Jay Clark, I was like, oh shit, delete, Jay Clark.
Yeah, but yeah, all hundreds all around. I would have definitely given that score. Yeah.
It's you know, at the end of the day, it's fun to watch. Like, when I see someone doing that, it's like that's really getting the crowd going, and it's really getting the crowd. They're giving the anticipation. It makes it fun. So at the end of the day, I do like what Michael Purdy did, and he knows what he's doing. He's a vet. He's done this. He does this. So moving on. Before this gets too long, we still got a few more guys to go, so we're gonna keep going on this. Firstly, next up, we got Lee Peck once again. He did, before this dunk, he had a message. They showed a message from his family, which, you know, if it's a family they love, you know, they're gonna have some tears in their eyes. And I was a little heartfelt when I saw that as well. But, you know, to me, the other side of me was like, damn, they're kind of just showing this for the emotional aspect for the viewer. You know, I won't get too much into that because that's where I can be very pessimistic. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was a heartfelt message from his family. But then, for the scores, Dwight Howard said that was great, 99. Vince Carter, first attempt, last dunk contest, take that 100 with you. Shaq was like, he's a doctor, I'm a doctor, score to 100. Also, I don't know if I mentioned the dunk. It was a double up one-hander, reverse over a 6'4" guy, and he punched that shit. I'm not gonna lie. He punched that shit. So he got a 99.7. My personal score, I would have probably given him like a 95, maybe. I don't know, maybe 96 for the heartfelt message, but, you know, can't really say much about that. You know, I'll give it maybe a 96. So, Darshil, you can go next.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it 96. Like, I'm just saying in terms of dunk execution as well, because if we're giving Michael Purdy, for example, right, 95 or 96, given the fact that he's jumping over kind of shorter people after clearing the first tall person, I feel like we can give Lee Peck a 96 on this then.
Especially since he did punch it. He did punch it.
And that's kind of my thing on it.
Yeah.
No, I just
Paco,
found it funny. I just found it funny that Shaq's comment is just, "He's a doctor. I'm a doctor."
yeah.
That's like, that's his justification.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, Shaq is actually a doctor, by the way. He has a
Okay.
PhD.
yeah. No, it's just funny because that's his justification in this case for the dunk.
But yeah, just putting it out there.
No,
Wait, what do you say?
I said that
Shaq has,
Shaq
like,
is
an actual-
actually a doctor. He has a PhD.
Oh,
he
really?
actually has
Oh, yeah. Actually, no, I didn't know that. Okay. Paco, any words?
I like to punch. Not much. Just
No, it was punchy. I'll say that.
I like punch dunks.
I agree with that. All right, moving on. Be rough once again. He did the. Okay, if we're saying this as I'm realistic here. He did the same dunk, but over Josh Rubel and a jet ski. So, but he did have the showmanship. I thought I love Be Rough. I love Be Rough after watching DunkMan, dude. He put the captain's hat on after he missed the first attempt. He made it on the second attempt. He had the captain's hat on. He threw it to the crowd, but it didn't make it to the crowd. It's all I'm gonna say. And that I just thought it was hilarious. But okay, Dwight Howard, he quote 93, gave him a 93. Vince Carter, first attempt you tried to glide a little short. The second time you corrected it by jumping a little higher, which gave you a little more oomph, knocking it down. Gave him a 96. Shaq, when you bring all that stuff out, you got to get it on the first attempt. I agree with Shaq. Gave him a 93. And then you got an average of 94. So in my personal view, I got to give him like an 88 or 89 because I gave him a 9. I'm pretty sure I gave him a 90 on that first one, and he made it first try. This time he missed it. So realistically, he wasn't doing anything much different. He just added a jet ski to it. So I'll give it like a 88, 89. So that's my personal opinion. Darshil, you can go next.
All right, so I think the best way to look at this, right, is actually Shaq's comment because I think it's the most. I think it's the one that us dunkers would probably agree with. Like, if you're gonna bring all that out, you better get it on your first attempt if it's something that simple. So, given that the dunk is pretty much the same, if you look at it by complexity standpoint, right? I would think that you would have to put it even less than what I scored, which is like a 92 or 93 at best, right? I'm gonna put it like a 90, in my opinion, maybe 89 even.
If I'm gonna confirm my score, I'm gonna say 89 because he did bring all that stuff out, but he missed. So, yeah, I'll say mine.
It's
was
like
confirmed 89, but yeah, you can.
Again, Be Rough. This is nothing personal, man. It's just about the dunk. We still love you.
Look, the showmanship. It's like after watching Michael Purdy and Be Rough, like that showmanship, it really makes it fun. So it also gives me like a really like a better understanding of, especially we'll get into it in the next episode, with some of the guys who did quite good, which you guys may know, but the showmanship, it's actually important to like make it fun. It's like, especially like it really reminds me of, like, again, like you said, Jordan jumping over a bunch of kids. Like, that looks so fun. Like, imagine being one of those kids and like either being scared or like being excited to see some man just jump over like a bunch of you guys. It's like that shit looks unbelievable to you as a kid. And especially it reminds me of Isaiah, that one video of Isaiah doing a Tetris. Everybody's getting so hyped up, he's about to jump over like 3 people, and fucking he hit his head on the rim, hit the dunk. Everyone's like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that showmanship, it's so important because it makes it fun, it makes it enjoyable. So it's like it's something to really give those kind of guys respect for, especially we'll talk about it next episode. We don't have too much time here, but we'll get into it. Paco, Harish, any comments?
Yeah, at this point in time, I mean, too many people were doing double ups and also reverse double ups, everything. So all he did was just include a jet ski.
Yeah. What's your score? What's your score before Paco gives his?
Um, I mean, probably say 95,
Huh?
Okay.
considering what other dunks
Yeah.
were given a score of. So probably, yeah,
I'll
95.
say Harish has been on a little bit of the higher end, so
Yeah, yeah. I would give it a 95 too if he didn't miss his hat, but if he did, I'll give it 90.
oh man, I'm sorry, but dude, when he no, when I was watching that live and he did that, dude, I started crying, like, oh man, that's because I saw the crowd, they were going for it, and then they were like, oh, it didn't make it, and I couldn't hold it back, I couldn't, but man, okay, moving on, King Dak, bunny hops. Reversed East Bay off dribble. He missed the first attempt, made it on the second attempt. Granted, it's not a double up and it's a hard dunk, so it's fine. He made it's a hard dunk. He didn't go for a double up.
He did it with two hands, right? In the end.
No.
Finished it. It's not that one?
It was a reverse East Bay. No, that was the
Was it
no,
off
no.
1 foot?
No,
Not two. I mean,
he did it off two, off dribble, and then he did the reverse East Bay. Finished with one hand. Did we talked about his East Bay over the bunny, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was off dribble, and he did it with one. He finished with one hand, reversed East Bay. Missed the first attempt, made the second attempt. Dwight Howard, he said he copied off Shaq, so he gave him a 99. Vince Carter said, guarantee if you guys go outside, because he missed the first attempt, but it's still an impressive dunk. It's still a hard dunk, so. Guarantee Vince Carter said, guarantee if you guys go outside, try that on any height, any of these dunks that these guys are doing, you're going to try and be like, that's pretty tough. He gave him a 97. Fair score. Shaq, everybody expecting you to do great things. Shaq said, I don't like when you miss, so I penalize you 1 point, give him a 99. Fair. 98.3. And I'll agree with them on that because it's a much harder dunk than any of these other guys are doing. So, in my opinion, if I'm giving it on like a more critical end, I would give him what Vince Carter gave him at a 97 because, of course, there can be much crazier dunks that can be done. But in a contest like that, and especially when you miss, if he didn't miss, I would probably give him something like a 98 because that is a tough dunk. But I would have given him what Vince Carter gave him. So
honestly, Juan, I would give at least at this point of the contest, I would just give 100. I don't know, like if he didn't miss,
I'm giving everything on my critical standards. If we're talking about if he didn't miss, I agree with you. I would probably give him 100.
But
Yeah, because at this point in time, the contest is ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say
For the first episode.
Given that he missed, I'm gonna give him a 98. I think, or 97, 98, somewhere around there. I think the thing with Dak, right, is that sometimes he kind of just abuses his vertical too. So it's just,
dude, that guy's a fucking freak, dude.
But I think it's just if Dak keeps dunking for the next couple years, he's gonna be a force to reckon with.
Oh man, dude.
Like this guy, he hasn't been dunking for that long, and he isn't that bad. He's pretty good,
dude. If he puts it, that's something we'll have to see in the future. You know what I'm saying? But anything else to say, Darsh, before we move on to okay, Harish, you don't got anything? Paco?
Yep, we'll move to Tajay.
I mean, it's a bit more intangible, but it's the stylish aspect that's missing from Dak that gives me like a 97, 98. Because I think the style points, not like points literally, but like when you look at someone like Dom, Tyler Curry, or even like I wouldn't say Isaiah, but back peak Isaiah. Not saying he's not peak now, but like in his dunking peak, Isaiah, they both have really good style points. And I don't think Dak has gone to that point yet, so I think I'll deduct a bit off that. But talking about purely vertical and a dunk, 99, 100. But judging by that aspect, I give it like 97, 98.
I'll say I'll agree with that very heavily because he did what do you call it? Like his finish was it wasn't the strongest finish. So I see what you're saying, and I see like of course he did like you could see him abusing his vertical on that jump, but Dom Dunks has done that dunk and he's 5'8", and you see the technique on it. I'm pretty sure I've seen Isaiah do that dunk. He does it clean with like straight arms. So we've seen a cleaner version of that dunk, and that's again being critical. But I heavily agree with what you said there, Paco. Harish, what would you give the score? I'll unmute it for. Are you good?
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I mean,
that's Justin Bieber reference.
yeah, in terms of score, I think, yeah, I definitely would have given it, maybe 96, 97, like that.
Okay.
I mean, just because at this point in time, the contest is ending, so, yeah.
Yeah. Darshil, were you laughing? I don't know if you were laughing.
I was.
Okay. I was just not to be sure that I was funny, but I wanted to make sure you knew the reference.
I did.
Yep. Ty J. He went for the off lob East Bay. He needed a good score. I'm pretty sure he kind of went for the safeness on this dunk because it's a dunk he's done before, but I think he got nervous. Possibly, not sure.
Yeah.
Shaq said he went for off lob East Bay, missed all three. If he would have made it first try, he would have probably made the top three. But unfortunately, he didn't. Shaq said tonight just wasn't your night. Gave him a 78. Not much to say about that. I'm not gonna give it a score because it's a missed dunk. Unfortunately, that's what happens, and of course you can't move on with missed dunks. But for Ty J's for this being his first contest, you did great, Ty J. So.
Yep.
So
right.
Any other words from anybody else?
No,
that's it.
not on my end.
Okay, gotcha. And then, bam! Hiram height check one last time. Fexer double up with the little split. Not as crazy as Jonathan's wall, but he did a little split in a suit. Where he did a double up reverse over Dylan, little squatted down on a couch with Joss and Travis seated on the couch. I'm pretty sure it was Travis on like the left side.
Yeah.
Triple hunted from that. No quotes from the not coaches, the judges. Gotten 100 for the contest standards. That's an 100 for me. That's if we're talking really critical, like I've been, 96. I'll give it that. It's a double up reverse, Paco. Dom did the same thing.
It's a split though, and it's
okay. He did get the split. Okay,
And he's elevated.
But
Wait. I'm gonna validate this split right now.
It wasn't a crazy split. That's the thing. It was like the thing
is, there's like I'm looking at the dunk right now, so I can't see exactly how my hands are. There's a split. And then there's Jonathan Clark split. Do you see my hands?
Yeah,
That's an actual split.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, then I would give some credence to having it closer to 100.
Yeah, and to be fair, he did add
By
the
critical
showmanship. He did add the showmanship of what do you call it? He did add the showmanship of how he does furniture sales. So he added the couch to it, and then he had the suit on, and he's like, watch this. He sold the crowd. That's what he did. So if we're talking...
Well, he's a salesman. That's what you sell the crowd.
Yeah.
It's closer in nature. Like, I'm not saying it's the exact motion, but it's closer in nature to a cannonball dunk.
I see what you're saying.
Like, that's what I would see. That's what I would think of it. I don't think it's split dunk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I put sorta, because it's not exactly like a, I've seen the Jonathan Clark split.
So I'm gonna just call it I would just call it a double up cannonball, at least in my opinion. Double up reverse cannonball.
But yeah, I mean, in these terms of like what we're looking at here, like what the contest is 100, but I really like one of the really to end this off actually before I say anything, Paco and Harish, do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, that was
Maybe not.
amazing. He did it. Oh, we're both talking.
Go
Okay,
ahead,
I guess.
Harish. Sorry, I
Okay,
should have
yeah, yeah.
been Harish. Go.
Yeah, yeah, all good, all good. Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say, yeah, that was very impressive doing it in the suit and tie. I mean, yeah, we already saw too many double ups, especially reverse double ups, but this one was definitely special. I mean, in the sense that he did it in a way that's unique to him because he works in furniture sales and he had yeah, Dylan McCarthy. Yeah, elevated standing, although he did, I think, bend down a little bit, but still, yeah, that was impressive and definitely, in my opinion, deserving of 100 score because at this point in time, he's the very last person, so he ended it off on such a great note. And yeah, I definitely agree. It should be all hundreds. Yeah, go ahead, Paco.
I would. Uh, it's double up, but it's a high tier double up. I would say like a up there double up. It's a cannonball double up if you coined it that way. But nonetheless, I like the showmanship. I like the personality, I like the backstory. But purely from a dunk standpoint, I would give it. If I was a FIBA judge, of course, I would give it like a 96, 97. But if it's in this case, 100 easily. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's my final verdict.
I'll say like for if we're adding showmanship, I'd give that a 97. If it's purely dunk standards, I give that a 96. But yeah, 100 for the show. But what I wanted to say and like my like this is like big thought for me that it's like one of my hopes for the future of dunking is that we are more critical with the scoring, but also more fair because I can imagine a future of where it's not so opinionated and so biased. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the problem with having judges, and especially judges who don't know what the fuck they're looking at. And I'm not talking about DunkMan specifically. We've all seen different judges in the past, but like they don't understand how hard some of these dunks are, especially like or how much easier some of the double ups are. Just to finish my thought, Darshil, because you know.
Yeah,
no,
go
words,
ahead.
but,
Go ahead.
what I wish for the future of dunking is that it's more critical and more fair in the sense of let's say Isaiah has 5 attempts to hit between the legs or behind the back between the legs. Let's say, for example, what if those first few attempts, it's not going to deduct points because of the absolute difficulty of that dunk. And it's like, when it comes to dunking, it's like the practice of dunking isn't as we can't accumulate as much volume of practice with dunking because of the nature of what dunking is. It's explosive. It's type 2 X fiber. It's something that it's injury prone, especially if you do it too much. It's not something like basketball where we could put up 1,000 shots a day. If you're training as best as you can to jump higher, you only have 1 day a week to practice your dunks, and some days are bad, some days are good, some days are average. You cannot get as much volume of practice unless if you're a young kid. So then that's where, guys like, Hoop and Nate, Dylan Haugen, Dominic Gonzalez come in. And the hope for that is that because it will push greatness if things get more critical. It will push the standard of what dunking is. And that is something that people like Isaiah have done, people that Donovan have done, people that Jordan has done. That is what I hope to see in the future of dunking as, if dunk contests get more strict and more critical, but also fair, to really push that greatness out of people and, push people to show who's really about that. That's all I got to say. Darshil, you can go.
I kind of lost my train of thought for a second there, but I think I was trying to say, yeah, for the judges, right? Like, if you were to look even at the alignment for it, I have all the respect for all three of them, D. Howard, Shaq, and Vince Carter. But out of the three, right? Sure, I think D. Howard technically has been in, like, a dunk contest before, but I think the only person there that I feel, no offense, is worthy of even judging those dunks compared to all three of them, at least for episode 1, is Vince Carter. Because he is the originator of some of the dunks that they did.
100%. I agree. And it's like you'll see the bias on some of them, more level, like higher level than other. But you'll see Vince Carter was a little more critical on them, and I'm happy he was. I'm happy when they're more fair, because I'll be honest, on like we'll talk about this in the second episode, but on the second episode there were some of the scores that the judges gave where the crowd booed them, but me and my brother, we were there like clapping. It was like, yeah, that's it right there, because it's like, that's like what I feel like, because there's effort, there's style, there's all that goes into a dunk. Dunking it's an art, it's a genuine art, and it's like, it feels almost disrespectful when it's like it's is seen as something so like kind of colored in a way, if that makes sense, because it's like it's the best way I can describe it, that it's so colored and so like kind of romanticized. It's like, no, I want to see the vigor, the style, the complexity of it, and because that is what dunking is about. When you see the best in the world, it's like, that is what dunking is. That's what I have to say. Any words from anybody else?
Yeah, I have some words.
Go ahead, Paco.
I wish it can be more international, not just limited to the States. Like, not a lot of dunkers know about DunkMan. If someone like Juan or DunkChan knows about DunkMan and fell in their application, things a hell lot
Actually,
interesting.
I mean, I think, like, some of them are international, right? But like I did in the intro, that kind of globe thing that I was doing. But
Yeah.
I don't think they reached out to as many countries as they should have, really.
Yeah, like look at Juan. If you know Juan, he's the guy with braids. He does like his signature is the double up scorpion and under both of lob. Imagine if he pulls that out, it will be crazy. And he showed that in like Macau, but unfortunately lost to Tyler Curry because of double ups. I don't think it's. I think you're wrong.
And that's it. That's it right there. That's why people in the dunk community get disappointed to see that. They really do. But of course you can make, there are some double ups that are like, for example, like Isaiah Rivera's Tetris. Like that shit is like, like he's like, it's over a tower and he's like looking back at it. He's looking at that rim with some whatever stress, whatever anger he has in his eyes to absolutely give it all to that rim. You know what I'm saying? But that's where the dunk community, that's where we get disappointed, and we're like, and this is more to talk about in next episode, because I know I'm thinking of one dunk in particular. I won't mention it now. This is for the next episode. We can talk, let's cut it here. We can talk more about this in the next episode. 1 hour and 22 minutes. If anybody has gotten here, comment your opinions, and we'll conversate down there, because we know you guys got some stuff to say. But if you guys have watched to the end, even if you had to stop, if you had to do something at work, if you had to do something at school, but you came back and finished this video, thank you. Genuinely thank you, because this is something, DunkMan, it was fun to watch. We got to see so many of the guys get noticed. But, there's still a future we hope for in this community. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry, what did you say?
There's still work to be done. But
oh yeah, still more to be done. Thank you guys. Harish and Paco, thank you for coming on and having your say into this. You guys helped out with your views. Darshil, we're always here. We're always doing our best to give value to this community. So with all that said, thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, like. If you're on Spotify, 5 stars. Share this with your friends. Just talk about us. Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
All right, peace.